I like to think of the new school year as a reset. If your child struggles with attention or organization or homework or executive function, now is the perfect time to put some new routines, new tools, new habits in place. Today, we're talking about a resource that I recommend to parents and teachers every year: TEFOS, the Executive Function Online Summit. I'm Jill Stowell, and I'm here with Seth Perler, Executive Function and ADHD coach and the founder of TEFOS. Seth, I know you've been working really hard to put TEFOS together. What do we need to know about it? And what are you excited about for this year's summit?
Well, thanks, Jill. And hello, everybody, parents, teachers, therapists, coaches. What do you need to know about TEFOS? TEFOS is the Executive Function Online Summit at TEFOS26.com or executivefunctionsummit.com. I know I said that fast, but you can find it in the links. And this is our 8th year, Jill. And I don't even know when I first met you. I want to say 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
And 8 years, it's crazy how time flies. But I wanted to start this because I got into executive function in about 2008 when I was still teaching. And I taught for 12 years. And in 2010, I left teaching and started doing this full time because I learned about executive function and I was frustrated that people didn't know about it. I didn't know about it as a teacher. And it is such an eye-opening concept. And I started the summit in 2019, I think, because I wanted to get the word out about executive function. Anyhow, this will be the 8th year, and I wanted to help the world learn about executive function. So I interview people who amaze me and try to really, what I focus on is what I know parents want, which is actionable, practical things, not a bunch of theory, although we do talk theory, but we have to get to the practical. What can parents actually do to help their child? We have a lot of teachers, therapists, coaches who come. So that's what you need to know about it. And you asked me what I'm excited about this year with it.
Yeah, for this particular year, as you're gathering up your group of speakers, what are you excited about? What are we focusing on this year?
I think what I'm excited about, I mean, I'm always excited about the interviews and the learning from people. And one of the things that's super exciting to me is that regardless of who I interview, they end up saying the same thing in different ways. And that may sound funny for me to say that, but there's a beauty in that. And that is that when we're trying to help kids, it's not rocket science. It is complicated. It's not simple. It takes hard work, but it's not rocket science. It's doable. And since all these people say the same things in different ways, that's always so reaffirming to me that we're on the right track and we're all doing the same things. It's like it's doable. So that excites me every year. Like I'm in the midst of the interviews right now, and it's just it just jazzes me like crazy to dive into this stuff. Another thing that excites me is that every year themes pop up. And the themes that are popping up this year, one is the AI and technology and online safety and screen time and those sorts of things is one of the things that's popping up a lot. So a lot of the speakers are talking about that because parents are struggling so much with figuring out how to navigate parenting their child with these complications. Teachers are struggling to figure out. Teachers are really struggling right now. But that's a theme that's coming up a lot. So that's exciting me that people are getting into solutions with that. And probably the biggest theme this year is emotional regulation, and probably the word of the year every year, like as these themes emerge in my brain, I sort of hear this as things organically go in a certain direction, and the direction things are going this year. And again, this is really exciting to me is emotional regulation and the word curiosity, or the idea of curiosity. So this idea that as we're trying to help kids regulate emotions, and you and I, Jill, the way that we grew up with our parents or our teachers or our cultures or our religions or our subcultures or whatever, as you and I grew up, we were getting these messages from the world about that it's not okay to emote, to feel your feelings, that children are to be seen, not heard, all these sorts of, dysfunctional things. And then over the decades, we've gotten so much more research in psychology and brain science. And this term curiosity comes up so much. And the reason that's so big with emotional regulation is because when we stop taking our frame, that when I don't know how you grew up, Jill, I'm just most of us adults and
Yep.
the people that you and I work with have grown up with these maladaptive or dysfunctional, or these ideas that don't work for our kids,
Right.
our neurodivergent kids. And this idea of curiosity touches all of that. So if we want to help our kids regulate emotion, we don't go in with our old school, punishments, rewards, giving advice, lecturing, nagging, bugging, trying to convince them to see the light, trying to explain to our kids why they need to do the thing. But instead, we get really genuinely, honestly curious about their experience. And it's hard, and it takes time, and it's counterintuitive, and it's not how we were necessarily raised and what's in our habits that we've had for so many years. But when we start changing to these curiosity, non-judgmental, open mindsets, open ways of collaboratively parenting and communicating with our kids using different questions, and not telling them how everything has to be, but really with that curiosity. I'm excited about that because I love the theme that's coming up, and it's so powerful. It's so simple and powerful, but not necessarily easy to do. So that excites me that, again, there are these recurring themes that emerge organically, and I'm seeing it happen in front of my eyes as I'm hearing these different people who don't know each other say similar concepts. That's super exciting for me. So,
And that's so interesting because we are seeing the same thing. And I find myself talking to people and to myself, be curious, be curious. And it has such a powerful impact when we can make that shift and really open ourselves up to looking, to exploring where the student really is. And it becomes a much more collaborative kind of a thing. At the very beginning, I mentioned this is a really good time for new routines and tools and habits. And the really key thing there is to do that collaboratively with your child. And that takes being curious about where they are and how they perceive it, and then working together. So I'm really excited about it. This is always really an incredible conference. So
thank you. Thanks. We put so much heart into it, and it shows, it comes through. And similar to the curiosity, when you were talking, it reminded me of the term perspective taking that goes with curiosity, but that's been coming up a lot too. And not just the kids learning the skills for perspective taking, but the adults really using curiosity for perspective taking. What is the experience this child is experiencing? What is actually going on with them? They're not being defiant. They're not being a bad kid. They're not being out of line and out of control and all these, they just need to try harder and just control themselves and manage themselves better and care more about school and focus harder. It's not that. It's about us taking this time. Yeah. And I think, I don't know about you, Jill, but like the older I get, the more I just want to like lock myself in a cabin in the woods and get into nature and get away from people. Not that I don't like people. I actually love my community, but I love I don't want to be, and I know we're on a podcast and on devices right now, but I want less and less of that. I want more nature time, more human connection time, more quality time. And that's, I think, also with this perspective taking, that slowness that comes from like being in nature and stuff is, I feel like, what we need to be giving our kids in a weird way, like that slow down, stop trying to do everything on the to-do list and get to all the practices and get everywhere and jam everything into the schedule. It's like that slowing down and being present.
right. Absolutely. And I just sense there's a swing in that direction because I think as humans, we actually kind of do know what we need. And our devices, originally were supposed to save us all this time, but I think uh, they've just flooded us with so much it becomes overwhelming. And
Mhm.
so, so we and our kids get to develop some new skills together to wonder and look at different perspectives. And in that process, you know, our kids are developing executive function skills.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were a classroom teacher. I also, once upon a time, was a classroom teacher. Uh, what is one encouragement you would want to give teachers as we go into the new school year? I think being a teacher is profoundly important, and it seems to be getting more and more difficult as our world gets more complicated. So, how would you encourage teachers going back into the classroom?
Great question. Yeah, I miss teaching so much, but I won't be a teacher again because it's just for me, I'm on my mission and doing what I'm doing now. But I miss the classroom. It's such a magical place. It's just the coolest experience of my life seeing kids grow for a year. And I taught 5, 6 also, so sometimes I'd have them in fifth and sixth, so 2 years in a row. And there's just so my thoughts to teachers is that one is how much we need you, and I know that the pay and the resources and you all are lifesavers, and we need you so bad. And 50% of teachers leave by year 5, and it's getting worse. Teachers are just burn out, and my words of wisdom, if you will, and it's not I don't know I don't know anything special, but my heart's message to teachers is kind of what I was saying about the getting back to nature is kind of getting back to basics.
Mhm.
There's so much pressure on you teachers from so many different directions. And I know for a lot of teachers that the pressure can get to be too much. And what I want to tell you from my heart is this: as much as you can, do the old school thing that probably, I'm guessing, Jill, you had heard the same saying that I heard in terms of just close your door and do what you need to do for the kids. Have you heard that beforehand?
Yeah, yeah.
And to trust your gut. And if you're a newer teacher, know that the mentorship you're getting from the teachers that you're around may not be from very experienced teachers, unfortunately, because so many teachers have left the profession. And so many of the people nowadays who are mentoring teachers are not very experienced themselves. It's a pretty horrible situation. But know that there's several countries in the world right now that are banning social media and that are really understanding how much this stuff is can be harmful to kids when it's not used in the right ways, and that things are changing. But even if they don't, go to your heart. Like, I guess, don't be gaslit by the pressures. Listen to your gut. Go back to basics. I think about, Jill, one of the things that I did, and I had a lot of freedom and flexibility in a lot of my teaching jobs, but a lot of teachers have a lot of rigidity in terms of how they're supposed to execute curriculum, which is nice in terms of training wheels for the first couple of years. But after that, it's like handcuffs, as far as I'm concerned, with teachers. But to go back to the basics, like I remember when because I didn't have that sort of pressure, I could do what I needed to do with tests. And like in math is one of the classes I would do, like the 1 question math quiz or the 3 question math quiz. We would take a piece of paper, rip it in, I would rip them into eights. So kids would get a little tiny piece of paper, have them put their name on it, ask them 1 or 2 questions or 3 questions, have them turn it in. And when I graded them, I didn't have the pressure of feeling like, oh, I need to give this back to the kid. But like, I literally, this might sound weird, but I would take them and I would look at them and be like, that kid gets it, throw it in the trash, throw it in the trash. And basically I would come out with a stack. If I had 25 kids, maybe 3 or 4 didn't get it. I keep those. The rest of them, they get it's not even, I don't like grades, but it's like, I knew my focus, and that was to figure out, did they get this idea or not? and who doesn't, and who do I need to help. So you can do things your own way. I just want to empower you teachers that and parents, because you know your kid best,
Right.
but like your gut knows. And you don't know everything. I don't know everything, but like when you get an urge to like try and experiment with something with learning, like go for it, do it. When you look at the curriculum and you're like, oh my God, if I was a kid and I had to go through what I'm expected to be teaching right now, I'd be so bored. If you feel that way, change it, and if you get pressure from the admin around stuff, just do the changes you need to do for those kids. But trust your gut. If you're like sitting there going, I would be bored doing this myself, this is not engaging, this is not working for my class, like listen to your gut. And it is hard, and it's not, meaning like you starting to create your own learning experiences and really getting creative as a teacher. It's hard, but once you start getting what that feels like to be a creative teacher, you will differentiate so much more naturally, so much more intuitively. You'll get a better feel for your class when you start developing the art yourself as an artist, as a craftsperson, as a teacher, rather than someone who's regurgitating the curriculum. Again, those can be used as great training wheels, but trust your gut. You have great ideas, use them. And if you don't, ask people, ask the teachers, even if they're not your mentors or whatever, who you admire, like, tell me your secrets. Like,
Right.
what can we do? If I were evaluating, and I'll wrap up with this, Joe, but if I were evaluating like teachers in schools, what I would be doing is not looking at all the scores and all that stuff. I would be looking at two things. One, how engaged are your students? Two, how happy are they when they're walking out of the classroom? If they're walking out of that classroom and they're like, man, Miss Stowell, she loves me. I had a rotten day. I had a rotten class, but I know Miss Stowell loves me. Like, that's what we want, like, and in that class, they're working hard and they're challenged and they're struggling. They're not just looking things up on ChatGPT and AI and like having them do the work for, like, they're struggling. Learning is a struggle, and a good struggle. A good teacher knows the appropriate struggle, knows how to get all the kids in the classroom. Even if you got 30 kids, a great teacher is able to really differentiate where they're all feeling challenged, appropriately challenged. Like they can succeed, but it's taking effort. And that's what we want. I want those kids to be engaged. So, if your kids are engaged and they're walking out of your classroom knowing that you love them, you are a miracle worker.
And so needed. So, parents and teachers, if you're looking for practical tools, encouragement, and fresh ideas from experts who deeply care about helping kids succeed, I hope you'll join us at TEFOS. It's
We
a great
can't go yet,
experience.
Jill. I want to hear what you think, what you want to say to teachers too. I'm super curious.
I think what you said about how important teachers are in the lives of kids, and to embrace the connection and the engagement and enjoying learning together, being curious together, versus I just know there's so much stress on all the things that they have to get done, and all the standards and all the test scores, and just step back, take the bigger picture, and know that the engagement and the enjoyment and the connection together in that learning is going to be the most important thing. So thank you so much, Seth, for jumping on today and letting us talk a little bit. And I hope everyone will join us for TEFOS, and I will see you again there.
All right, Jill. Take care. Take care, everybody. Thank you for being here.